In this video, we're going to talk about a chilling chapter in Erica Slaughter's past in Netflix's and Something is Killing the Children. Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of Netflix, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 39, whenever this does come out to Netflix. Brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. Alright, so before we begin this issue, this is the last issue of the character-defining year 0 arc with Erica Slaughter and the nightmares that she's been dealing with before it leads into Something is Killing the Children issue number 1. Now in issue number 1 through 20, we deal with Erica Slaughter and the current timeline of that story, and then other issue deals with the past, and then what happens after the fact, and now we're going back like chiropract to what happens to Erica Slaughter and the moments that led to Something is Killing the Children issue number 1. So we quickly realize that whatever transpired in this town, Erica Slaughter is seeing a therapist, and the therapist is like, okay, so what brings you here today? And Erica Slaughter is like, curiosity, I guess. And he's like, about yourself? I guess. Well, no, not about me, about this, about what you do. And he's like, well, you never been to a therapist before? I think it's kind of dumb, she says. Well, sure, it can be. There are a lot of bad therapists out there. But Erica's like, but not you. You're one of the good ones. But you can tell by the way her tone is, she's kind of undermining him or giving him like a backhanded response. And he tells her, you're paying for this, so you might as well get to talking for me a little bit. She's like, okay, I'm out of practice. I don't like people very much. And he's like, well, that's fair. Like I said, there's a lot of bad therapists out there. And you get like some interesting dialogue back and forth between them. And this frustrates Erica because she's like, I don't know how this works. You're not asking me anything. How does this work if you don't ask me anything? So he asked her, what would you ask you if you were sitting where I am? And she's like, well, probably start with the stitches on my arm. Ask me how I got those. Ask me how I got the bruises. And he's like, okay, how did you get the stitches and those bruises? She goes dark and she's like, I can't tell you that. Well, that wasn't a very good thing for me to ask, was it? Guess not. So he finally flat out asked her, like, how old were you when your mom died? 12. It was both of them, my mom and my dad, the same night. And also that same night, my friend died too, but I don't remember her that much now. Oh, you were there? Yes, I was there and I saw it, says Erica. Kind of creepy, kind of chilling, but we do know that takes place in the events of Something is Killing the Children, issues number 16 to 20, which we did cover in this channel arc right here. So he asked her, how did you survive that? Well, I saw the thing that killed him and I tried to kill it. Got pretty close to. Was it an animal? And Erica's like, yeah, you could say it was an animal, a pretty messed up animal. And we get this glimpse, this bloody, horrific glimpse of this Oscar type going to work on Erica's parents and friend. Now, before we go any further, we're just going to admire this in. This video is sponsored by coffee because I do these videos early in the morning before I take the kids to school and before I go to work. So if you'd like to buy a boy a cup of coffee, link in description or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. With all that being said, let's get back into the content. So now Erica goes into Jessica. Jessica was the one that saved her life and she found Erica a new home. So the therapist obviously asked her, who is Jessica? Well, I guess you could say that she raised me. Erica starts crying and the therapist is like, well, don't be sorry. And you notice throughout this issue, he keeps a very neutral tone. And Erica's like, I'm not a crier. Well, you don't seem like you, are you? And I'm not going to tell anyone, I promise. And Erica's like, yeah, I guess. So the therapist goes deeper and is like, tell me about Jessica. So before she goes there, she needs to do some digging around because Erica's a pretty hard girl. But I like how we see this vulnerable side of Erica Slaughter too, because all we ever see is the badass side of Erica. Now we get to see a more vulnerable side, and it's kind of chilling because you're digging into the past that she don't want to talk about. So she asks them, the kids in town, the ones who have been dying, have you been talking to their friends and parents? And he's like, yo, patient doctor confidentiality. But she probes some more, but this isn't a big town. You've got to talk to a few of them, I'm sure. And he tells her it's definitely on a lot of people's minds, including mine. It's horrible. No one seems to know what's happening to children. So do you talk to kids? She gets all eyes wide open. And he's like, no, it's not my specialty. The closest child psychologist is about a 90-minute drive that way. So it usually happens after a divorce, not because of this. So what do you say to the kids who just lost their friend or sibling? Erica wants to know because I think she needs to know and wants to know how to deal with these kids after she goes to these towns and starts slaying monsters, but he can't tell her that. She just continues to cry and she doesn't like that. And the reason why she doesn't like that is because, there was so much happening when her parents died that she didn't even cry then, but she didn't know what was going on then. But now that she's crying now, she thinks it's a sign of weakness. And in the house of slaughter, if you cry, you get picked on by other kids because that's just how messed up they were. And if you cry in front of them, they pick on you. Just like Aaron Slaughter, they picked on him a lot because he cried. And when he got picked on, he tried to pick on Erica Slaughter. She's going into details about the house of slaughter with her handler, Aaron Slaughter. So because Aaron cried a lot and picked on Erica, Erica was meaner to him, which made him cry more. And the doctor was like, why did you even do that? Because he's a little shit, that's why. But I was always meaner to the people who were mean to me. So how about the adults, says a therapist, in your life? Did you ever see any of them cry? Oh yeah, Jessica, the one that recruited her, she cried a lot because she's been drinking a lot, and she drank a lot because she cried a lot, or her drinking resulted into crying. Do you think she was weak? The therapist asked, and he thinks about her, and she has flashbacks of her, but you can tell she's having a quote unquote weak moment because she says it's here, but she also believes Jessica was weak too. And the therapist is like, you don't sound too sure. And I don't see very many notes on this paper. Erica's like, if she wasn't weak, she'd still be here. She couldn't keep herself in check. She didn't have any discipline. She let other people pick up this life before they were ready, even if it meant putting them in danger. It sounds like you're angry with her, says the therapist. I'm not angry with her, says Erica. This isn't why I'm talking to you. I cry now. I like to stop, but I don't want to cry no more. And he's like, sorry, like I don't teach people how to suppress their feelings. Like that's not what I do, you know, and it's not even a good thing because it's hard for them to let it out and it's hard for them to keep it in. It's just not a good human psychological balance. At least people pretty freaked up, you know? Yeah, I said fricked up because I wasn't sure if I want to say fucked up or fricked up, and I just went ahead and said it anyway. So Erica's like, look, I did it when I was 12. It works for a while. Help me make it work for a while now. And he doesn't want to do that. So he asks her again, how long ago did you lose Jessica? 1 year ago, 1 year this weekend. So how does she go? And Erica's like, I am not going to tell you that. But we get a glimpse, and even though we're 40 issues deep of Something is Killing Children, we get little bits and fragments of how Jessica goes, but that's it. Erica Slaughter tells him that's not for you, and the therapist is like, okay, I respect that boundary, but you asked me what I tell kids who come in, the ones who have lost somebody. Everyone gets kids backwards. Kids think that they're all balls of emotion. That's what the adults think. And sure, kids have lots of emotions, but for the most part, they're still figuring out how the world works. They like logic. They want to know why things are happening. So I like to question and ask the question, what is practical use of being sad? Like the utility of it. To us as humans, it's why we evolved to be sad when we lose someone in our life. Someone important, someone who shaped us into who we are. Sounds like why Erica Slaughter is crying over Jessica. And the thing is, as a therapist, it's to make us remember. It's to make sure we remember. Sadness is a tool our brain uses to take all of the memories that we love the most or hate the most and make sure they're never forgotten. Not out of sentimentality or nostalgia. It's so we remember what was important so that we can see in the world when it comes around again. And so we remember what hurt so we don't get hurt again or hurt anybody else like we were hurt. You can tell he put his emotions into that, and Erica's like, I felt that, and you know what? I like that. That's pretty good. So she ends the therapy and gives the therapist some money because there was a girl that she had an incident with because, you know, Erica had to kill some monsters and all that. She gives him some money so he can help cover some of her lessons, even though that is not his specialty. It just goes to show you the character of Erica Slaughter. I dig this issue because even though nothing happened, no killing happened, we get a little flashback of what happened. It deals with the theme of trauma, a traumatic experience. We've seen Erica dealing with monsters and their aftermath as though it is her job and her only job, but that does not make the sense of loss go away. Underneath this facade and this tough girl persona that Erica puts on, she is still human. Dealing with the loss is a universal human experience. We've all dealt with that. And I like how we see that in her. She wants to understand how to talk to children she meets and gives them the kind of help that she did not receive when she was a child. The way the therapist is drawn, like he keeps a neutral face as best as he can, but he did let out a little emotion at the end when he talks about why we cry when we cry. But these are just fleeting emotions. Erica studies him, and this shift puts a whole new perspective. I can't even talk this one because my coffee's not in. So it puts a whole new perspective on her, and it has that effect. So bottom line about this issue, Something is Killing Children digs deep into Erica's psyche. It reminds us that monsters leave a lot of aftermath behind them. Even though these monsters are formed by trauma and the emotions that kids create, it leaves a lot of aftermath in the fact. So you got to dig this issue. Even though I call it a chilling chapter in Erica's past, it is kind of chilling because you get a little bit of glimpse how Jessica, her mentor, died. Just a little glimpse. And also, Erica's human and it's kind of messing with her too. It's taking its toll on her. There's only so much that she can bear. So what you guys think of this comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print rated comic exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Until next time.